Hello and welcome to FPS Coach. My name's Rambo Kim, and in this video, I'm going to share a few tips to help you with wall peeking. I'll start by breaking down a few clips from G2's Valorant team, and then at the end of the video, I'll show you ways that you can practice what I'm about to show you. The first clip is of Patty Tech. I think that's how you say his name. But anyways, here's an example of a basic wall peek, which includes 3 steps. The first step is to line up the crosshair in preparation for the peek. For this particular angle, the crosshair is at headshot level. Step 2 is to use the movement keys to reveal the desired angle and put you in position to line up your crosshair. Step 3 is to make any quick micro flicking adjustments if the crosshair is off, but in this case, the peek was perfect, which required only a counter strafe and then a clicking of mouse 1. The last thing to mention about this clip is to notice how exact the crosshair is placed to the right edge of the wall as soon as the angle is revealed, which is the position the opponent is most likely to be in. Here's another example of a perfect peek, but slightly more difficult than the first clip, as this requires pre-aiming the crosshair slightly upwards before peeking. It is much easier to line up the crosshair on the ground level, as you can use it as a parallel guide. Alright, here's clip 3. The first 2 clips were examples of pre-aiming at a specific angle and position, but what do you do when peeking and there are multiple positions and angles to consider? Here's a clip of Mixwell using the wide peeking technique to win this 1v1 situation. Notice how he intentionally places himself directly into the wall before peeking. The closer he is to the wall in front of him, the wider he can swing out. He then places the crosshair in preparation for the peek, and notice when the angle is revealed, the crosshair is placed exactly in the middle of the hallway, which allows him to flick in equal distance to either side. Here's another clip of Mixwell showcasing 2 peeks back to back using pre-aiming and wide peeking. This first peek is similar to the first clip, with the crosshair pre-aimed exactly next to the left edge of the wall, at the position the enemy is most likely to be. Notice how it's literally just a few pixels to the left. After the first frag, he goes for more. He immediately wide peeks the angle, and instead of aiming the crosshair at the same position as the first peek, he splits the angle down the middle, providing an equal flicking distance to any direction. Alright, now let me show you how you can practice your wide peeking skills with AimLab. I've loaded the wall peek basic task with a single target spawning on each side of the room. In order to peek the widest and fastest, which reveals the most amount of angle, you'll want to press forward into the wall in front of you and then strafe out. For example, here's me a few steps away from the wall, and notice how I'm revealed and exposed to a lot of angles, but if I'm touching the wall, I'm completely safe. The important thing is that when you're strafing out, you're able to reveal all of the angle, but not strafing too much out, which gives extra time for the opponent to react. When wide peeking, use your movement to assist you in aiming the crosshair. Notice how much the crosshair moves by simply pressing a strafe key. For the beginners out there, this is a general mechanic to improve upon, by blending your movement and the mouse to navigate and aim around the map. But before strafing out and peeking, we need to choose where to place our crosshair in the wall in front of us. When wide peeking and you don't know where the target is located, I'd recommend placing the crosshair to cut the angle in half. That way, you have an equal flicking distance to either side. The wider the angle you peek, the more you have to potentially flick, so you have to keep that in mind and prepare your hand-eye coordination for the potential range of flicking. As you're strafing out, you need to visually process the revealed angles in real time. Or in other words, if you're peeking and you see the target, you should react quickly and flick and shoot. But if you're peeking and there's no target halfway through the peek, you can use the process of elimination to prepare your flick shot. Or in other words, you know you don't have to flick as much, which helps your hand-eye coordination prepare. So this is where having fast reaction time and visual processing time really comes in handy. Alright, let's do a quick recap and then I'll show you several drills to practice. Step 1. Touch the wall in front of you. Step 2. Place your crosshair at headshot level and prepare for the peek. Step 3. Strafe out the perfect amount to reveal all of the angle. And then Step 4. Flick your crosshair and shoot. If you're a Valorant or CSGO player, you'll want to add a counter strafe before you shoot, so it looks like this. Strafe, stop, flick, and shoot. Or if you play games without counter strafing, you can keep your movement continuous, which looks like this. Another way you can use this training mode is that you can work on your jiggle and shoulder peeking skills, as well as shooting at multiple targets that move, crouch, and spawn in the back upper platform and the other 2 wall peeking modes. Hopefully this video was helpful in some way. If it was, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to stay up to date.